Gue juga kaget bacanya seperti ini. If you're so afraid of being house stands, they might be house stands. I think you can kick OO safely out of this debate. Several things under this debate, right? I think it's important to understand that in any civil wars, in any invasions, in any wars, the key metric of you judging the debate has always been minimizing casualty. Because none of the houses can safely say zero casualties. What happened under opening opposition is that washing their hands like Pontius Pilatus, giving them the war, the billions of money in ammunitions, in tanks, and say it's not my fault that I destabilize you because now you have our weapons, without necessarily assuring how do these oppositions, or even assuring us which oppositions, when Fayo asked them, that they will be stronger enough, that they can win against military juntas that have successfully cooled the government through Russians backing, for example. More than that, when they said that NATO provide weapons through processes and so forth and so forth, the conclusion is simple. They contribute to the danger and destabilize the region, but they cannot ensure whether or not it will be stabilized in the future. They say, oh, we will be doing trade deals and so on and so forth. The question is with whom? In times of destabilization, in times where everyone is military juntas versus ISIS versus Al-Qaeda versus 11s or X amount of military groups, what kind of business you can build in your nation? What kind of business deals that can come without stability? What kind of foreign direct investments that wants to invest in a business without stability? Under their side of the house, it's an empty threat that we will sanction you. What do we have to lose to begin with? Okay, it's that. But more than that, under our side of the house, it's clearer. We have told to you the reason that we cannot only send money, we cannot only send ammunitions and tanks, it's because we have the military advantage of US and NATO. We have the capacity of troops, of tactics, of strategies, of commanders that understand combating ISIS and Al-Qaeda throughout our years of combating ISIS and Al-Qaeda, for example, throughout our years of espionage against Russia and KGB, for example. These are the prerequisite of stability under our side of the house. They cannot co-opt our benefit and say we can achieve stability by giving them weapons to random oppositions. How? Unclear. But moving forward, right? What they say is Trump will accept this because it's easier. I question under their side of the house. It's a business expense with no real return. What do US get in return by spending billions of dollars, sending it as aid under their side of the house? I think it's clear in Viola. We are going to make it shift, make it swift. The invasion is needed as the nation has no longer be a democratic representative of its people, and hence we have the principled responsibility to help invade as swift as possible. But moving forward, I'm going to extend this on why is it US, what's in it for US and NATO, right? Asia.
This is such a beautiful, this House Wood speech. Your question, you should move on to why Trump's democracy has this position and has the standing to teach people what
It's
they want
here.
to teach, how to do the government shutdown.
It's here. But moving forward, right? What is in US and NATO? But sure, but this is this House believes that it should. My argument would be why this is beneficial. 5 reasons. Number 1, it kickstarts a huge business. Unfortunately, some nations are built upon military complexes, and United States needs to start a new production of military products, not only producing ammunition and selling, but it's an entirely complex ecosystem supply chain of paramilitary groups and so on and so forth. Number two, it provides this, I really hate to say this, it provides distractions and clearing names of genocides by actually doing the right thing and actually installing democracy through swift and proper invasions. Unfortunately, it's only US and NATO and can do this under the guise and pretense of installing democracy. But number three, establishing African trade route and energy in Northern Africa. There are plenty of rare earth mineral, and the area of North African sun that is very strategic for a trade route to develop technologies, to create better trade routes, to counter China's rapid technology development, for example. Creating stronger coordinations with US and European allies by US helping France and other European countries re-establishing their old ties with their old colonies, or even preventing China's presence in Africa. China's previous investment in African countries like Nigeria through numerous Belt and Road projects, which is currently stagnant or failed to a certain extent, means an opportunity for us. What is the conclusion out of this? We are benefited if and only if military invasion is done. But the incentive goes beyond not only to invade, but to invade to create stability. This is something that no other parties in this debate can have. Russia does not have the incentive to create stability because their incentive is only benefiting through military juntas they back. Military juntas does not represent what the people. Under their side of the house, in absence of stability, what happens is constant grievances, constant manipulations of ISIS and Al-Qaeda throughout, since the grievances are valid, the destabilization weapons on the street. But moving forward, it's important for you to judge this metric on a helicopter perspective. Yes. Therefore, the debate should be who has the biggest incentive and who has the biggest capacity to provide stability in those regions. Unfortunately, as much as US and NATO is not the perfect hero, nobody is. They are still the best incentivized, the best capable actor compared to Russia or ISIS. Support US.